What is up, YouTube? My name is Eben, and before we get started today, I'd like to remind you that the like button is down there, and it does need a little loving from you. If you could do it, I'd sure appreciate it. It helps out me, helps out the channel, blah, blah, blah. Let's get to the point. You came here today to see a deck around none other than Mega Ampharos. And this guy, for those of you who don't know, is a Mega Evolution with 220 HP. Is weak to fighting, resists steel, has a 3 energy retreat, and the reason we are all here gathered today is because for 2 lightning and 2 colorless, he can do his Exavolt, a very unusual and powerful attack. It has 120 base damage, but you have the option, no coin flipping, just the option, to deal an extra 50 damage. That means you're dealing 170 if you want, and guaranteed paralyze your opponent's Pokemon. 170 damage if you want it, and paralysis if you want it. No coin tossing for paralysis. That's pretty amazing. And the only cost you have to pay for this, if you do, he does 30 damage to himself. Okay, we got plenty of ways around that. 170 damage could easily be a KO on a lot of things, but the things it doesn't KO, 180 HP plus Pokemon, most Megas for example, we can paralyze them, making it very difficult for them to come back and attack. I mean, even if they switch out or something somehow, they're still going to have to also switch back in to get another attack off on you, and even then, with 220 HP, they probably won't KO, meaning that you can just Exavolt them again and KO them. And the best part is, when you do that second Exavolt, you don't have to take the 30 damage recoil. You can just settle for that 120 base damage, because you won't need paralysis and that extra 50 to KO them, and so you won't have to hit yourself again. Which, if we combine it with a card like Rough Seas, we can just get some extra free healing there, and your opponent doesn't have a lot they can do to argue with it. So this whole deck is all going to be about getting Mega Ampharos and his 4 energy attack up as quickly as possible, and then just spamming it. So getting it up consistently and quickly, that's the name of the game. So obviously here we're running 3 Mega Ampharos. We're running 3 Ampharos EX just to get there. Now, of course, if we're seeing something like Giratina EX, we can always just keep our Ampharos EX instead of Mega Evolving to get our Giratina EX's ability, and we can just use our Sparkling Tail to 2-hit KO him. And Sparkling Tail is an answer to other things, in case this is a modified format deck, but you can always use it in Expanded, and Sparkling Tail can take out Safeguard Pokemon and things like that. So this is a nice Pokemon to keep just because of that second attack. His first one you can use, but usually isn't going to get you too much. Our main method of powering our guy up is going to be Mega Manectric, and we're running 3 of him. That's right, this deck is pretty much exclusively Megas and Mega powered, but that's okay, because it's all Lightning, and it's pretty much all good. We've got 3 Manectric EX, who's another great starting Pokemon. Overrun, Assault Laser, great attacks, and Assault Laser as well can be a very good weapon against Giratina EX. Just nothing more to say about it. He's mainly your means to get to Mega Manectric EX, of course. And the only other Pokemon we're running in this deck is we are going to run 2 copies of Shaman EX. I know he's expensive, but these 2 copies are so very worth it. It's basically a supporter card in terms of draw power, except it doesn't use your supporter play for the turn, of course, because it's a Pokemon, and you can bring it back with AZ, and you can search for it with Ultra Ball. I mean, it's just about options and card drawing, and this thing's amazing. And we do have some DCEs, so we could use our Sky Return. We're probably not gonna, but we could if we wanted to. Our supporters are a pretty thin lineup, but pretty important. We're running 4 Sycamores. We're running 2 Professor Birch's Observation. Yes, I've converted away from Shauna, but that's important because Shaman can help us recover if we only draw 4 cards, so it's not too bad. And of course, drawing 7 is always awesome. So I decided to go for 2 of those. We're opting for the 1 Lysander. This is a great way to get around things like Giratina EX, of course. I know I'm talking about it a lot, but that card and its deck is pretty much the best counter in the metagame right now to this deck. Lysander helps us pick up easy KOs. It brings in 170 HP Pokemon, for example, for easy hits. Things that are powering up, you can hit them and paralyze them and give your opponent a tough situation. Just a brilliant card in this deck. We're running AZ. I nearly ran Zerostic, I'll be honest with you, but AZ just does a little bit more. And of course, when we're running Mega Manectric, and we're also running Mega Turbo, spoilers for a minute or 2 from now. Act surprised, act surprised. We don't mind AZing our Pokemon up to deny our opponent a knockout, and then just putting the basic energy back in the discard pile where we're going to go get it back from anyway. In fact, you can even go so far as to AZ your active Pokemon, out of the active slot, bring up your Mega Manectric, and just Turbo Bolt those 2 energies right back onto your Pokemon in the same turn that you sent them there via the AZ. Our last card is Hexmaniac. This is a great defense against various abilities. We can get around Aegis/EX a lot of ways, but this is another weapon against him. It can provide us openings against Vileplume, things like that there. It's quickly becoming kind of staple, and in this deck, it is no exception either. We're running relatively few supporters, but that's because we're running 4 Versus Seekers. We want to rip through our deck quickly. We're using a Battle Compressor and the like, of course. So our Versus Seekers should always be pretty happy, assuming we Battle Compressor wisely. Unless we just get absolutely screwed in our opening hand, we should be fine that way. We're opting for 2 Ampharos Spirit Link because we shouldn't need to Mega Evolve 3 times. We got a lot of draw power and search power, so 2 should be fine. Those Spirit Links are just, of course, to keep us from losing our turn when we Mega Evolve. And we're similarly opting for 2 Manectric Spirit Links, all in the same kind of logic there. We've got 3 Battle Compressors. This helps us get lightning energies in. It also dumps some crucial supporters. That way, if, like, let's say you don't get a supporter in your opening hand, but you do get the Versus Seeker, you can Battle Compressor, send a Sycamore, and, like, say 2 lightning energies, for example, or maybe like a Lysander for later. And then you can just, via Seeker, get the Sycamore and fire it off, and hey, it's like you had a supporter in your hand the whole time. So definitely running those 3. And speaking of getting lightning energies into the discard pile, also Ultra Ball. And this way we can always get our Mega Evolutions when we need them. And of course it gets us Shaman EX. That's that consistency over and over. And of course, to further this discarding and ripping through our deck theme, we've got 3 copies of Acrobike. Get the thing you need, ditch the extra supporter if you got too many, or the energy, or whatever it is you don't need. Or want to take advantage of being in your discard pile. And speaking of in the discard pile, 3 Mega Turbos, because we run 6 Mega Evolutions. 3 of each one, 3 Mega Ampharos and 3 Mega Manectric. So this card just makes sense. It's a great way to power us up very quickly. This can easily get our Mega Ampharos up, and of course it doesn't care if it's on the bench or in the active slot or anything. So this is a great way to kind of cheat a turn out, essentially, because 1 energy per turn, this gets us 1 turn ahead, essentially. We are running 1 copy of Professor's Letter, and this, of course, can work in tandem with Ultra Ball and things like that there. Just helps us make sure we've got the energies, and of course you can fire it before Sycamore, attach your energy for the turn, discard the other one so you can take advantage of it with Mega Turbo or something. Our last 3 trainers are 3 copies of Rough Seas. This can partially get rid of annoying stadiums on the other side, but of course mainly this helps us completely get around Mega Ampharos' Backlash when you activate its optional effect, because he only deals 30 to himself. Rough Seas recovers 30, and hey, if you don't have to knock somebody out, then you don't have to, that is to say, if you don't have to deal the 50, if you don't have to deal the 50 to him to get the knockout, then this just gets 30 extra healing. That's always good. And if Mega Manectric retreats out to that Mega Ampharos, this helps you recover damage, which can block knockouts later on for your opponent. It's just a great all-around card. Finally, our energies. We are running 10 lightning energies, which are the most important energies in the deck. And they're basic, all of them, which is delightful because it makes things like Enhanced Hammer kind of pointless, and or else it can't hit them. But we are running 3 double colorless energies. This is just to kind of give us a few more options. Like, let's say you had to manually attach to your Mega Manectric this turn to attack. You Turbo Bolt 2 lightnings onto a Mega Ampharos that doesn't have anything else attached to it. Your Mega Manectric has to go down, or you just need to retreat it out. Next turn, all you have to do is attach a DCE to the Mega Ampharos, and you got 2 lightning, 2 colorless to go ahead and Exavolt. So this is just that speed and consistency thing right there. And that is the deck. It is awesome. It's a lot of fun. I really hope you play it and give it a try. I plan to play it. I plan to enjoy it an awful lot, because Mega Ampharos, he's pretty cool. I mean, he's Fabio. You can't get past the hair. So anyway, until next time, like I told you before, comment, feel free, ask for new things you'd like to see on the channel. Who knows, it might happen. I like to respond, so don't be afraid. Questions, comments, whatever. Favorite jazz singer, whatever. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter, too. I'm trying to tweet out things, do stuff like that there. It's also a great way to get hold of me. If you ever want to say something and you don't feel like posting it in the comments, want to be a little more personal, I can do that, too. And until next time, I will see you then.